ready to make the ring walk for the biggest fight that boxing can.
Keep it handsome, keep your chin tucked. It's the one that only goes with the shadow in the front. And I hope you guys are having a blessed after midnight surprising stream that I'm doing out of nowhere. I blessed you with my presence. Probably nobody's watching, but that's okay. So a couple things I want to get into, man. Number one, I got a brand new camera, and y'all need to see this shit, bro. If you're a content creator, there's this camera I got, and I think it looks banging, bro. Right? I could move around. Watch this. Look, let me get with this first. Look at this. This is like a multi type of camera where I can do not only just streaming, but let's say somebody came to my door right now, right? Hey, what's going on? Thank you for joining me after midnight, man. Thank you. Just real quick, how does this camera look? Does it look good? So this camera, right? It's like a multi-functional camera. The shit is dope. I'm not even into cameras. I'm not. So what happened is I've gotten a couple of cameras before for my channel, right? And every time I've gotten one, I've had issues with it. I don't know why, but I'm not good with cameras. I'm not good with photography. I'm horrible, right? So I started like looking around, right? And I got this camera where I could actually it does a whole bunch of things, right? But like I gotta learn more about it. But it's got AI tracking in it, right? Also, if I was to connect this camera to this computer right here, because this is a NVIDIA's graphics card, right? If I was to connect it to here, there's a program in there where I can actually change how I look. This shit is crazy, bro. And I bought this shit for this shit was on sale. That's my problem. I be buying stuff on sale all the time. But normally it's $400. And it was on sale for like $280. And I said, man, that's expensive for a desktop camera, but it's not just a desktop camera. Like if I really wanted to, right? Let's say someone was knocking on my door. I still got to figure everything out. But let's say somebody was knocking on my door. I could disconnect this. I could disconnect it and walk with it outside. Sort of like a GoPro. But it's got a whole bunch of other things on there. It's got like tracking and stuff like that. Like if I wanted to, I can get up and go over here. It'll follow me wherever I go. That shit is dope, right? And then I could do things like I could just zoom it in. I could zoom it out. I could stop it. If I just wanted to stop it. Now it's locked. Now it's locked. Right? But if I go like this, once I do that, it activates the AI in it. Boom, I can walk around. Y'all can follow me. If somebody was to knock on my door, I could disconnect it and walk with it outside. This shit is dope, bro. I've never been excited for a camera. But anyway, let me turn the tracking off. Let me go back to it. Yeah, so it's a good company, by the way, bro. They're like investing in a lot of like streamers and stuff like that. And it's a dope camera. Once I figure it out, I'm going to be using it a lot. I could take this shit outside. I could film it anywhere. It's like a GoPro, but like with smart AI tracking in it. Also, like I said, when I connect it to a desktop like here, if I really wanted to, I could change how I look. That's crazy. So if somebody really wanted to, let's say they were obese, they could connect this camera, and as long as it's a NVIDIA graphics card after 20 series, right, with ray tracing, they could go into the software and make themselves look fat, muscular, all types of stuff. That's crazy, man. I'm telling you, technology is going crazy. Sooner or later, you're not even going to be talking to me. You're going to be talking to a fake version of me. It ain't even going to be me. A clone's going to come in here one day and take me out. And then the channel will probably run a lot better with a clone, right? But anyway, man, appreciate you for being here. What she said? Room dusty as hell. She knows that's not true. She knows that's not true. She knows. She's just trying to be mean to me. She's always hurting my feelings. But anyway. And no, thank you for being here, Spicy. I appreciate you. Spicy is like a head moderator here. So look, a couple of things that I wanted to talk about today. So as you know, calling me a bug. Yeah, she's the one that gave me the name Jitterbug. As you know, this weekend is a fight that I've been waiting for a long time, right? And it's mainly, a lot of it comes because of the fathers, right? Eubank and Nigel Benn. You know, I think it was one of the greatest fights. Like, there are a few fights in boxing, right, where if I was to talk about, like, if I was to meet somebody and they didn't know anything about boxing and they said, well, what are some fights I could find for boxing, right? There's a few fights that I have in my head that if I met somebody who never like watched boxing in their life, there's a few fights where I could be like, go watch that fight. And I think it represents the sport of boxing. Because a lot of people get this. I don't blame people. You ever remember when hey, what's going on, Shelton? Hey, Shelton, what was a long time ago? I kind of miss it, but what was the long time ago where we were having boxing like on Fridays and stuff? Do y'all remember that? Like back in the day? Like if you were just watching, like flicking through the TV and you was flicking through like a basketball game and you would see boxing on. And I think it was like Fridays or something. I forgot, but I remember seeing a young Sugar Shane Mosley on there, bro. I was a kid. I remember, and I think I remember seeing Zab Judah on there. And there was a lot of greats that went through that era, right? But for the most part, I wasn't into boxing, and I was a kid. And when I would flip through the TV, most of the fights that was on was boring. So they were, there you go. Thank you, brother. USA Friday. Thank you, brother. Thank you for being USA Fight Nights. Y'all remember that? Man, there's a lot of greats that went through that on Friday. I saw Vernon Forrest versus Sugar Shane Mosley. I saw that on there. I saw a lot of fights on there. But a lot of times when I would click on there, it would be kind of boring in a way. It was boring. And so there's few fights though where if I was to tell somebody, hey, if they were like, well, give me a few fights though. So one of them would be Nigel Benn and Eubank. The fathers, right? Because not only were these fights great, but what made them great was the storyline leading up to it. You know, and I remember at that time, them two were at the top of the. I think who's the guy that Eubank Sr. always brings up, and he feels bad for fighting the guy. What's his name? Like Michael Watson or something like that. I don't know what happened with that fight, but I think he says that he could have lost that fight, and that guy Michael Watson and his health reasons or whatever. But the main part I want to get into is that this Saturday is a fight that I'm looking forward to. However, it is kind of a mismatch. It is. Even though it's a mismatch, I'm with Shelton. I think Eubank might actually lose. And it's just because styles make fights, right? And Conor Benn is really, really aggressive. He's really aggressive. And I also feel like when there's a rivalry of this sort, like when there's families involved, I don't know. He just seems like he's ready to kill that man. And I feel like Eubank, he's always playing around and everything. I'm not saying he's not taking it serious, but I think he does a great job of promoting. And by the way, I think these two guys represent the UK very well. I think the UK gets a lot of crap, especially in America. I don't like the stereotype that if the guy's from the UK, he can't fight. I mean, come on, you guys are smarter than that. Canelo gets a lot. Speaking of Canelo, how is it that this man gets brought up in fights that he's not even connected to? I swear, for all the shit that Canelo gets, right? For all the criticism and the stuff that he gets for fighting whoever he wants to fight, and people talk about his level of competition and everything, people always bringing him up. They don't waste an opportunity to bring him up. So today during the press conference, first let's start off with this. Eubank Jr. He's not there for his son. And I really like this guy, by the way. He has his own channel, right? And this guy talks very, very smart and what they call it, eloquently, right? And he's like, if you were to look at this man, you would never think he was a dangerous man in the ring. And he talks like with the British accent, and they ask him what was your dream growing up? And he was like, my dream was to hang out with the queen. And you're listening to this guy, you're like, all right, this guy's like as UK as you could come, right? And then you get and you see this man in the ring, and this man was a monster, right? And but however, with that being said, I don't agree with a lot of the things that this man is saying in regards to his son and Conor Benn. And I almost get this feeling like he's upset that it's not I feel like from what I see, like he wants the spotlight to be on him. And I hate to say that. I really do. But if my son was about to fight my biggest rival son, his son, there's a son rivalry, I would be on my son's corner, bro. I don't necessarily have to coach him, but I would at least be in his corner. The fact he's abandoning his son, and I don't think it's right. And you can actually see it in Eubank's face at times. I really do, because you got to remember, like, this guy's sitting there. He looks over to his left, and here you see Conor Benn and his father, and they got this such great relationship. And they've done a lot to actually poke fun of Eubank Jr. And I remember not this press conference, but the one before that, when Conor Benn said to him, at least my father likes me. You know, at least and I feel like that's kind of fucked up. I don't know how much that's going to affect him, but I can tell you right now, if my father was still alive and was an all-time great, I would want him to be in my corner, bro. And some of the stuff he's saying doesn't even make any sense. He said that these guys don't speak well. Basically, he was bringing up the fact that they were cursing. Come on, bro, this is a fight. Like, you should know. People are gonna curse, and he's talking about he didn't like the fact his son took the egg and smashed the other dudes in the bro. It's promotion. There's a lot of bad blood. And when I look, the more he talks, I just feel like he's upset that the spotlight isn't on him or something. I don't know, whatever it may be. But he keeps bringing up something that happened about 2 or 3 years ago, when I think his son kind of made it clear, I'm my own boss, which is there's nothing wrong with that. And you know what he reminds me of? He reminds me of people in my family. I feel like my brother is like that. I love my brother. I will always be there for my brother, but I haven't talked to him in over 5 years. And it's not because I don't love him. It's not because he's not a bad person. It's because he never tried to give me advice. He tried to direct my life, bro. There's a difference. But when you have a bigger brother, I'm like, bro, I'm a grown ass man. I'm not 9 no more. Like, you're not. I'm a grown man, bro. You don't got to tell me what I have to do in my life and how to do it and this and that. And if you don't do it, he gets mad at you. Like, that's one of the reasons why I started. And I feel like Eubank Sr. is like that. Like, your son is his own man, bro. He's in a dangerous sport where he could die. And by the way, what he's doing too, when I looked at him tonight, he's got a lot of weight to lose by tomorrow. I think that weight cut's going to mess with him, bro. I think that weight cut is going to mess with him. Huh? Why be fake? If we don't get along, we don't get along. Are you talking about them two? Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, what his excuses for not being in his son's corner doesn't make sense, is what I'm saying. It doesn't make any sense, bro. He's saying things like, well, my son is cursing. My son is not acting respectful. It's a fight, bro. What do you expect your son to say to this man? What do you want him to say? Do you want him to say he loves him and he wants to cuddle and every bro? First off, they're promoting a fight. And he should know more than anybody, which is why it makes me think that there's more to this. I think a lot of it has to do with him. And
I didn't understand
that. I'm telling you, bro, I feel like they're tracking me or something. Like my phone does this all the time out of nowhere. Just ask me questions. But anyway, when the press conference started today, his father said his son, Conor Benn. Now, mind you, what is the weight that Conor Benn is moving up to? Now, there's a weight difference in this fight. I think normally, from my understanding, I believe Eubank Jr. was trying to campaign at 168, right? He normally was at 160, but I think he was trying to campaign at 168 because I know that he was trying to get a Canelo. I think at one point he was going to get the Canelo fight. That it wasn't looking right. And then you got Conor Benn, who's been at 147, right? And then this is before he got popped with the whole steroids things or whatever, right? So they're meeting at 160, I think. Is it 160 they're meeting at? Either way, I feel like this benefits Conor. This is one of the few times where I feel like a person moving up in weight, it benefits. Usually when I see a person move up in weight, I don't think it's good for them. Like when Jermell Charlo moved up to fight Canelo, like Crawford moving up to fight Canelo, I don't think that is in their favor at all. If you're going to move up and fight somebody, then you should fight somebody. Maybe you should take a fight or two and get comfortable where you're at. I don't think it's a good idea to move up in weight and challenge the number one guy that's been there, that's been comfortable there, that is a champion there, unless you are elite yourself. Now, in Crawford's case, I guess that does make sense, but we saw how his fight was at 154. It was kind of mediocre, right? Against an opponent with only 10 fights. But Conor Benn, I believe, is what, 147 to 160. Is it 160? Yeah. What is the weight clause though? Hold on, let me see. Hold on. What is the weight clause here? Okay, here we go right here. So the Eubank Jr. and Benn fight will be held at the middleweight limit of 160, right? Just like I said. Additionally, there is oh yes, I'm going to get into that in a second. They were talking about this rehydration clause. Okay, this is why I feel like this is all bad for Eubank. And this is where I do kind of agree with his father. So his father, one of the things his father was saying is, listen, man, y'all trying to drain my son. You're trying to drain my son, and then you're going to limit how much he could gain overnight. Now, this is not unheard of. There's a lot of rehydration clauses, or, you take the IBF, for example. The IBF, I think it's normal for them to weigh in at the weight limit, and then the next day, what was it? What did HLD? What was it? 9 a.m. or 11 a.m. Something like that. But the very next day, you got to weigh in a second time, and you can't have gained over 10 pounds overnight. But once you weigh in the second time and you are okay and you're not over 10 pounds, shit, you could gain as much as you want until the fight. But a lot of people don't like the weight clauses in the morning. And, the more and more that I look at boxing and just combat sports in general, man, it is becoming more apparent to me that the weight clause is that making weight, the cutting of the weight factors in so much into these fights. It's unreal. It's unreal. And I wish we would get to a point where this can be less stressful on a fighter, man, because I feel like this shit, I'm not making excuses for fighters, but I'm telling you, man, a lot of times their weight cuts are the reason why these guys are drained and got no energy. And they just, we look at a fighter and we go, well, damn, he didn't look like that last fight. He didn't look like the fight before that. Why he looking like he got no steam on his punches? And this shit takes a lot out of you, man. Not only does it take a lot out of you, but when you're cutting weight, it also messes with your brain. You lose liquid like water in your brain. And like I said, man, there's a documentary from UFC before they added in mandatory doctors. Now the UFC has they have a mandatory medical process that these guys go through, because you had fighters that was passing out literally on the scale, getting rushed to the hospital, canceled on the day of the fight, kidney problems, all types of stuff, swelling of the feet, all because these guys are killing themselves trying to make weight, either jumping in a sauna, just really not drinking any liquid. In fact, they were talking about today at the Eubank and at this conference, they were mentioning Eubank Jr. and Chris Eubank, and they were saying that they think that, you know, one of the things that a lot of people was pointing out was like, damn, bro, this guy's got to weigh in tomorrow, and he looks like he's got to lose a lot of weight. That was one of the things they were saying. They were like, yeah, like he literally. And I think the other guy, I don't know his name. He's a UK fighter or a former UK fighter, because they kept going to him, asking him for advice in regards to cutting. And he's telling them, he's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure he stopped drinking water like a couple hours ago. And then he's going to go back. And then they're going to usually do like, you know, that whole sauna shit, bro. And I feel like that is just a very unhealthy way to drop weight. And he's got a lot of weight to drop. Then on top of that, he makes weight. Then once you make weight and you put some water and some food in your body, you'll be surprised how much pounds just stack on, bro. 10 pounds is not a lot. It's not. It sounds like a lot, but it's not. So now when you make weight, you got to watch what you eat and drink, because the next day you got to weigh in a second time. And then when you weigh in the second time, once you're okay, you're good to the fight. Now, it sounds easy, but that shit is not easy, bro. And you got to remember what that is doing to your body. All that up and down, that shit is not healthy at all. And this is why a lot of these dudes, I feel like when they come into the ring, I mean, I don't know how many fighters I've heard or seen say, when you ask them about fighting, I can't even begin to tell you how many fighters have said, man, shit, I'm not scared of fighting. I'm not scared of fighting. I just don't like that weight cut. Like, that's the hard part. And you see people in the UFC say it all the time. Once they make weight, it's like they hit the lotto. They're smiling. They're happy. They're like, yeah, oh shit, I'm good. Man, you about to fight. Yeah, oh, shit, I made weight. I'm happy I made weight. Like that is like the hardest thing sometimes. And you got this guy who I feel like this does not benefit Eubank Jr. at all. I feel like this kid is gonna be he's gonna be drained. He's gonna be drained. And his son, and then on top of that, Conor Benn, you know, we've got a very, very aggressive style. Whereas Eubank Jr., I would consider him more of on. I mean, he ain't the biggest technical fighter, but he's definitely more technical than Conor Benn. He's definitely more technical in the sense where he has a jab. He's got a very good jab, by the way. Eubank Jr., if one thing he's got going for him, Eubank Jr., he's got a good jab. It ain't the best jab in the world, but it's a good jab. And he's going to need that. Because obviously the height disparity between these two is also a factor. Let's take a look at the let me go to the tail of the tape real quick. Share screen. Share the tape. Okay. I don't like this tail of the tape. This is a ghetto ass bootleg tail of the tape, but it's more than what I need. Okay. So Eubank Jr. is 35 years old. Conor Benn is 28 years old. Eubank Jr. nickname Next Gen. Conor Benn nickname The Destroyer. Okay. Eubank Jr. is 5'11. Conor Benn is 5'8. Eubank Jr.'s got a 72.5 inch reach, whereas Conor Benn only has 68 inches. Now that is a lot, bro. That is a lot. Okay. Eubank Jr.'s trainer is Jonathan Banks. Conor Benn is Tony Sims. Eubank's record is 34-3 with 25 KOs. Conor Benn 23-0 with 14 KOs in their last fights. Now, the biggest thing about this is the age. The age I don't think factors in too much because Eubank Jr. is he's healthy. I don't think he's a person that clubs and drinks a lot or whatever. But either way, he's healthy. I don't remember Eubank Jr. ever having too many issues making weight. If I'm wrong, maybe somebody can correct me. But I don't recall many times where he's had issues making weight. In fact, the first time they were going to fight and the fight got canceled, one of the things he was pissed off about was the fact that he was like, man, I was ready to make weight. I was on point. So I don't think he's not going to make weight. I just feel like this all benefits Conor Benn because he's moving up from 140. He's got to gain weight. Come on, bro. Which one's easier? Losing weight or gaining weight? I mean, this is common sense, common science here. All right. But then again, right? Then on the flip side to that, you're gonna have this guy has a height and reach advantage, and it's noticeable. It is definitely noticeable, even when you're standing side by side. By the way, I'm looking at them and I'm like, wow, he's definitely bigger than him. Hold on. He's definitely bigger than him. And not by that much. Not by that much, but he's definitely bigger than him. He's definitely got more reach than him. He's definitely been at a higher he's been fighting at higher divisions his whole life. Conor Benn is 147. You could tell he's a 147 pounder, by the way. You could definitely tell. But I'm very interested in this fight. And it's not necessarily just because of them per se. It's more of the history of the fathers and everything. And back this up real quick. Hold on. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, prop that out. A lot of it has to do with the fathers, and I was watching the behind the scenes of these guys. Did you guys see where Conor Benn lives? And I don't know what is it called, a loft? Yo, that's what I want. If I ever get famous or I get rich, I want to live in a loft. Forget a house, forget a condo, a loft. I think they call it a loft. And I actually looked up, they got lofts in Chicago too. So from my understanding, a loft is like when you see like almost like a building that could be a warehouse, and they sort of turn that into a house itself. And it's a lot of room. And that's when you walk in and your damn living room is as big as a gymnasium and shit. And a lot of times it's because it's altered. It wasn't originally meant to be a house, from my understanding. I was looking into lofts. A lot of WWE superstars lives in lofts. But anyway, I want a loft. Conor Benn lives in a loft. That loft is nice. But anyway, what's going on, HOD? What are you guys making bets and stuff? You think it's gonna be a 10? I do think someone's getting stopped. Yeah, I do think someone's getting stopped. I don't think it's going all the way. I don't think it's going all the way. I did find it a little bit interesting, by the way, how when the press conference started, Nigel Benn, he's a Hall of, is he a Hall of Famer? Hey, look, I respect the guy. All right, the Dark Destroyer, I respect him. I mean, that's his son. He's gonna say whatever he says to pump up his son. But I was laughing, and somehow Canelo got inserted to the promotion somehow. Of course, right? Always got to bring up Canelo somehow, indirectly. So he basically says, it goes over the night. First, Eubank Jr. gets up there and he's like, "Hey, look, man. You ever seen Joe Pesci? What was the movie where Joe Pesci is the lawyer? And my cousin Vinny, and then he's like the New York lawyer, and the other lawyer is like all top notch, the prosecutor. And he goes in there, he lays out the case and everything, and then my cousin Vinny was Joe Pesci was like tired and shit, and he wasn't even paying attention to anything. And then the judge is like, "Hey, state your case or whatever." And he just goes up there and goes, "Everything this guy just said is bullshit." That's literally what Eubank Jr. said when this press conference started. He said, "Hey, look, man, whatever Eddie Hearn says and this guy says, whatever, is a bunch of bullshit. It doesn't matter. It has no bearing on the fight. He's got to see me on Saturday. It is what it is, and let's leave it like that, right?" Then when they go to Conor Benn, his father, because like I said, Eubank Sr.'s not there, which I totally disagree with. He's not there. But when they go to Nigel Benn, he says, "Oh, I'm gonna tell it all. I'm gonna tell it all." Like he's got some secrets and shit. My son's been bullying light heavyweights all camp. He's been bullying this guy and bullying this guy. And you know who else he bullied? He bullied a guy named William Skull. And we all know William Skull's fighting Canelo, right? Coming up. And it was like, I listened to that and I'm like, what was the point of that, bro? What is the point of that? Even if it is true. So you're telling me that you got somebody to spar your son to help him out, right? And we all know sparring doesn't mean shit. How many fighters get dropped in sparring? A lot. My guy Tio's been dropped in sparring a couple times. They even got it on tape. And remember when he was coming up, they tried to use that against him? It's kind of funny because the couple of guys that tried to use their sparring against him, saying that they knocked him down, where's their careers right now? Nowhere. In the gutter. So sparring don't mean shit. All right? That damn Tank and Devin sparring, the infamous tape, right? It doesn't mean much because usually when people spar, one of them is getting ready for a fight and the other one is helping. And there's times when they're sparring, the other guy is not even sparring as himself. He's trying to mimic the other guy's opponent. Pacquiao would do that shit all the time. He'd get an opponent, like I think he was going to fight Margarito. He got this big dude, try to imitate Margarito. So it's like, it doesn't mean anything. However, he wants to say his son has been dominating all the sparring partners. He's been bullying a whole bunch of light heavyweights. And I just feel like, I feel like that's just ridiculous because it's like, so William Skull came to help you and your son was bullying him around and you just want to tell the whole world that. Yeah. See if William Skull works with you again. What kind of shit is that? I don't even know if I even believe that. And I get it. That's his son. But if you think telling Eubank Jr., my son was bullying a whole bunch of, they used to do that with Tank. They said, he's bullying heavyweight, he's pushing light heavyweights around. Better watch out, man. They don't care, bro. Eubank Jr. doesn't care who your son was bullying around. He doesn't care. He's going to fight him on Saturday anyway. So what is the point of you even saying that? What are you trying to make him scared? I just didn't understand that. In the way he said it too. He's like, and he also was bullying this guy named William Skull, who will be fighting Canelo next. All right, come on, bro. And then I think about it, and I'm like, is that a stab at Canelo? Yeah, what are you saying? Like, we all know already what's going on. Canelo's gonna fight Skull, right? He beat Skull, and then they got it planned for September for him to fight Crawford. Who's Crawford fighting before September? Huh? Nigel Benn? Crawford's fighting nobody. That's right. That's right. So once again, this is where we're at. But other than that, hey, look, man, I'm gonna get a loft. You can make fun of it all you want. I'm gonna get a loft. Y'all look up lofts, bro. I'm in love with them now, bro. I'm in love with them now. Like I saw Conor Benn in a loft, and then I saw what's his name? Who lived? What's the dude's name? CM Punk. He's a wrestler. CM Punk. He lives in a loft in Chicago. Shit. When I get enough money, I'm gonna get a loft, bro. Fuck a house. I want a loft. Them things look, them things is it's cool looking too. Because it doesn't look like a house normally from the outside. If my understanding from lofts are, if I'm understanding it correctly, that's what they are. They're big warehouse industrial type areas, or what could have been, and then you turn it into a house. Anyway, I want a loft, bro. When you walk in, your ceiling is so damn high. Like a ladder ain't gonna get you up there, bro. Like you need one of them long, big ladders. Like I want something like that, bro. Anyway. Yeah, there's a lot of them in Spain. Absolutely. There's a lot of them in Spain. But anyway, did you see the loft that Conor Benn has? Man, that thing is beautiful, man. That thing is beautiful. One thing I did want to touch on too, while we're on the topic of the UK. And I've talked about this all the time, but I know you guys see it too. And I shouldn't let stuff like this get to me, but it's like, I don't understand it. You're a boxing fan, right? You're a boxing fan. I'm gonna bring up, matter of fact, I'm gonna bring up the WWE as an example. The WWE just had WrestleMania. I don't watch wrestling. I don't. I grew up on wrestling. I used to love wrestling. My family used to have outings and stuff like that. I remember with The Rock and Hulk Hogan. And when I was like a real kid, like couldn't even walk. It was like Hulk Hogan. But then when I was a kid, it was like The Rock, and right. And I used to love it. It was like a family event affair. And then coincidentally, when John Cena entered, I kind of stopped watching wrestling because he was always winning, and no matter what, he was going to win. It's like, I already know what's going to happen, bro. You're going to give it to John Cena, bro. But anyway, ironically, he became the champion again. We all know it's scripted, but the point is, Vince McMahon, who's been running WWE for like the longest, right, had this these cases brought up, these legal cases that are being brought up with women and all this other stuff, right? So he had to step down, and now you got the guy Triple H running WWE, right? And I'm watching this, and I'm like, it reminds me of boxing with the fans. So, except the difference is they script everything. Meaning like, if they think in their head, like, well, we shouldn't go this route because the fans aren't going to like it, or it might affect our sales, right? They could change it. Whereas in boxing, unless the fight is rigged, you could put on the fight and that's it, right? But the fans is so similar. You got 3 different types of fans, bro, or 4 different types of fans. One, so going back to what I was saying, a lot of fans didn't like the storyline. They didn't like the storyline, all right? Because The Rock came in and John Cena turned heel, and then The Rock left, and people were upset, right? And people were voicing their opinions online and everything like that. And Triple H says, well, stop complaining. If you're a fan, stop complaining. Like, just be quiet and shut the hell up and just take it, whether it's good or bad. basically insinuating you're not a real fan. And this is where I'm going to connect it to boxing. You're not a real fan if you don't like what's going on. And I see the same in boxing, bro. All the time. If you criticize a fighter, you're hating on him. You're hating on him. You hate everything about him. If you give a fighter props for a great performance, now you're a D-writer, bro. Now you on now you on his dick and da 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 da. I'm gonna give you a perfect example. The guy from the UK that just won his fight recently in the rematch. What was his name? Whitaker? What was his name? Whitaker, the guy that showboats a lot. Ben Whitaker. Right? And in his first fight with Cameron, I think we covered it on this channel. He quit. The man quit. And not only did he quit, but it's how he quit. You know, they both went over the ropes in like some WWE type stuff. And I think the man could have went on, but that's here nor there. I don't know what's going on in his body, but apparently he was hurt, or apparently he was injured before he was fighting. And you know, and I hear that, and I'm like, you know, this is the new get out of bad performance card. That's what it is in boxing now. Well, I'm injured now. Don't you all fight injured? From my understanding, you all fight injured, right? I hear Teofimo Lopez say, all these fighters fight with injuries. I fight with injuries. Everybody fights with, a lot of guys fight with injuries, right? Which is why I always say, if you're injured, right, then don't fight. But I get it. There's a lot of moving parts in the background. You can't just stop the fight, right? Plus, that's your income. That's your bread and butter, right? Fine. It's your decision. Go ahead, fight. But if you lose, I don't want to hear I had an injury, like the dude Shiraz, who had a draw with the Damas, right? First thing he said was, my hand was hurting. Nobody wants to hear that, okay? Nobody wants to hear that. So going back to Ben Whitaker, the man quit. And not only did he quit, but it reminded me of like the NBA when like LeBron James flops around. You know, like if you even breathe next to LeBron James, he just flops on the floor and it gets called a technical. The dude was acting, bro. You didn't want to fight. You saw it wasn't going your way. You was getting touched up, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. You're a human being, bro. None of these guys are gods. You saw what happened with so-called Tank, right? And all his fans right now are still coping. And you got some of them in the psychiatric ward right now still. They can't believe that Tank looked vulnerable. He's a human being, bro. He's a human being. Like, everyone is beatable. Everyone could get knocked out. Everyone gets sick. Nobody lives forever. They're like, why are y'all shocked? But this is the shit that we get, right? So when Ben Whitaker lost his first fight by quitting, he got criticized. Rightfully so. And I think a lot of it had to do with the fact it's because most of his fights, he just showboats 90% of the time. And I get it. Showboating is actually good in a way if you capitalize on it. I mean, let's be honest. If we're fighting and I start doing all this showboating and you can't hit me and I'm tagging you up and I knock you out, yeah, people going to get mad. They're going to be like, I don't like this guy Shadow Ghost, man. He was just, showboating and everything. But I beat your ass and you didn't even hit me. So, yeah, it shows that you're, playing around with your opponent. If that's the message you want to get across, then fine. I don't like it when T.O. does it. I don't like it when Boots does it. And I love both those guys, but it is what it is. That's part of their game plan. Fine. I've also said that if you ever see T.O. playing around like this, that means he's beating your ass. I don't have to see the whole fight. If I got home and somebody was like, hey, T.O.'s fighting, and I'm like, no, I didn't know he was fighting. Go ahead, put it on. And I put it on. And it's round 8. And I see T.O. going like this or whatever, playing around. I don't have to see round 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I know he's beating your ass, bro. He's beating your ass because he's playing with you, right? So Boots was doing it too when he got comfortable in his last fight. But going back to criticizing, Ben Whitaker, dude, 90% of the time, showboating, right? Some people think it's disrespectful. Fine, whatever. So when he lost that first fight by quitting, because that's what he did, he quit. We started hearing I had injuries and this and that and da 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 da. And he's getting criticized like he should get criticized. What did he do? He came back in the rematch. He knocked the dude out. Knocked him out. Clean out. Congratulations. You did what you were supposed to do the first time. Right? But just because you criticize him, that don't mean you hate him. But then if you say he got a good performance on his rematch, they'll call you a D-rider. Like they did with Boots, right? People were criticizing Boots. Why? Why? Because Boots gets hit a little bit too much for his liking, right? In fact, his own father made it clear after the second Karen fight, we need to tighten that up. His own father is saying that, okay? But if you say it, you hate Boots, bro. If you say it, you a hater. If you say I like Boots, you a dick rider. It's just crazy to me, bro. We are fans, right? We watch and we criticize. Some people hate, yeah. But in my opinion, there's a difference between criticizing and hating somebody. Hating to me is when you don't acknowledge what a person has done or accomplished. And I see that a lot. Like, you know, for instance, if I'm like criticizing a fighter and I'm holding him to all these standards, and then somebody asks me, well, who's your favorite fighter? And I say, oh, well, I like this guy. And then you're like, well, what do you think about with this? Oh, no. Oh, so you hold this guy to that standard, but not him. That to me is hating, because you're being unfair with your own bias. And I think everyone is biased, but you could be fair with your bias, right? You could be fair with your bias. When Tio fights Barbosa coming up, I'm Tio all day. You guys know that. But I criticize him with the goofy shit he does outside the ring. That's me. I think sometimes it's goofy. But if he was to lose, let's say if he was to lose, you think I'm going to make any excuses for him? You think I'm going to say, oh, well, he was injured, and oh, well, he was that. The only reason why he gets credit for the whole Kambosos thing is because, I mean, you had a lady who has her own medical practice, who, by the way, she had a lot of high profile people come out on the line and say that this is what's wrong with him. I don't think she's going to put her medical license on the line. But even with that being said, it's still Tio's fault. It's still his fault. Because if you're injured and you feel like, I feel like, bro, it's a bullet you got to take. And a perfect example would be Devin Haney. They asked Devin Haney this press conference or the last press conference. Did you see when they asked him, knowing what you know now, when Ryan Garcia came in overweight and you let the fight go on because you told him to pay you, knowing that now, would you have still done it? Devin, without a shadow of a doubt, says, nope, I would not have done, I would have called off the fight. You see? He might not ever be the same again. So you are responsible for your own actions. Ben Whitaker is a joke with the 8. And, yo, that too, I do think it was a little early, HOD. I do. She's always just throwing constant shots at me. Yeah, I do. I don't know. I'm not saying it would have changed anything, HOD. I do think he was gonna lose. I do think, but it was kind of a little early. All I'm saying is this, bro. When Boots fought Karen the first time, everybody thought he was gonna stop him, including me. Okay? I thought he was going to stop Karen, bro. I really did. I thought there's no way Karen's going to beat this man. I said, because the man can fight orthodox. The man can fight southpaw. The man got a shotgun jab. The man's got a great stamina. It seems like to me at that time, Boots was getting more. It seems like he was getting, like, the more comfortable he gets, the more stamina and energy he has. That's what it looks like to me, right? So I'm like, there's no way he's not going to be able to stop Karen, right? And Karen showed us in that first fight, no. Yeah, Boots is vulnerable. Like anyone else is vulnerable. None of these guys are unbeatable. And then when the second fight was coming along, which, by the way, the second fight, I believe, was more about the sanctioning body sanctioning the fight than it was him getting the rematch, from my understanding. I could be wrong, but I don't think he went out and looked for Karen. I think that Karen earned that. The sanctioning body sanctioned the fight. And people were like, oh, again? In my head, I'm like, okay, Boots is getting a rematch with this guy. You should have put him out first fight. Now he's going to stop him, right? And he did worse, in my opinion. He did worse. And I've been a Boots fan since day one. I called it out. I'm like, bro, he needs to tighten up on his defense a little bit. His timing's a little bit off. Yeah, you're going to get hit. It's a fight. Of course you're going to get hit, but he gets hit a little bit too clean. And his father was even saying, yeah, we need to tighten up on that. Like, what we worked on in the gym, our timing is off. And then he fights Danny Onis, and look what he did. The best version of Boots I've seen yet. Best version yet. In fact, that Boots right there makes me think, I don't know if there's anybody at 147 that can beat him. And then, of course, what happens after that? Now people start saying, oh, well, he can't beat this guy at 160. He can't beat this guy at one. That's what I started seeing. So Boots has a great performance, right? Boots now, right, does what people has been wanting him to do for a very long time, and he does it. And what do people say? A majority of the people, oh, well, he can't beat Virgil. He can't beat Janibek. He can't beat Canelo. He can't beat. They're mentioning all these guys that don't fight at 147. It's like, bro, just give the guy props, bro. It's so drastic. It's crazy to me. It's so crazy to me, man. Just because you criticize somebody, bro, don't mean you hate them, man. And just because you give a dude props don't mean you're on his dick. I'm starting to believe, bro. Well, actually, I know for a fact. I think dudes run out of content. I think they run out of content. I think they go, I got no content today. So I'm just going to make up some controversial ass title. And that's fine. But the issue I have with that is there's a lot of channels that I used to watch because I love their take. I love their take. Doesn't mean they were right. It doesn't mean that I felt like they were right or knew more than me. I watched them because as a person that loves the same hobby, as a person that I would consider a pugilist, and just because you're a pugilist doesn't mean you know everything, right? We all know shit. We all don't know shit. You might know more than me about in this subject, whatever, but we all love boxing at the end of the day, right? And I watch these guys because I love their take. And it's like, you know, oh, that's a good take. I never thought of it like that. Oh, I never seen someone break it down like that. And a lot of the channels that I used to like watch for, a lot of them that I was doing that on, now I go to them and I'm like, what are they doing? What? It's just shock. It's just, you're making up shit. That's not true. But it is what it is. I mean, I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect, but it makes me, it's like, I don't know when to take you serious or not. Anyway. Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know, every fighter has like extreme fans, bro. Every fighter has, but you know who has extreme fans? I bet you, listen, I'm telling you right now, from the shit that I watch, you got a lot of crazy Canelo fans. You got a lot of crazy Terrence Crawford fans. But I'm sorry to say, bro, the people that take the cake are Tank fans. And I love Tank, bro, but some of his fans are so delusional. It's kind of scary, bro. It's kind of scary. They refuse. They refuse to go there. They refuse to be, oh, there's no way that happened to him, bro. Nah, it was grease in the eye. It was. He did. He did have a lot of grease in his eye. They literally have to tell themselves that. It's like, I don't know. Maybe me. I criticize the fighters I like to a fault, actually. A little bit too much. I feel like the fighters that I like, I'm actually way too hard on them. It almost seems like I'm hating on them half the time. And that's because I expect more out of them. You know, when I got on TO for for his past couple of mediocre performances? That's because I expect T.O. to blow those dudes out the water, bro. That's why. That's why, bro. I expect more out of you, bro. Oh, Kodo, woman assaulter. I don't know what that is. Hold on one second. Oh, yo, look at what I found the other day. Bro, this shit is an old cartoon. This is reckless, bro. This is reckless right here.
Mario, I have captured the prince.
Now hold on a second. You! What the fuck is your problem? You stupid cunt!
Wow, you're really mad.
What number is this? Do you get off on being captured? You stupid bitch!
Easy there, buddy.
Do you think I don't have a life? Do you think I don't have shit to do? I'm a goddamn plumber!
Do you need me to step outside?
I've killed so many motherfucking turtles! If I see another one of those goddamn things!
They're just doing their job, man.
And don't even get me started on you fat fuck!
You think I'm fat?
This is the last time! The last goddamn time I'm saving your stupid ass! We're gonna go home and guess what you're sucking? My balls!
Oh my god, bro. These dudes are reckless, bro. I found out on a channel that be taking these old cartoons, man. I've always asked myself how she let herself get caught all those times. Hold on one second. Oh yeah, I didn't check that. I actually didn't check that, by the way. I'll check it right now. Let me see. I don't know how recent this should be updated, right? Let's see right here. Hey, Shelton. Or Shelton or HOD or somebody. What is a good betting site? I don't bet, but what's a good site? Because the odds should be legit there. I'm gonna just go to DraftKings, right? DraftKings. DraftKings, right? HOD. Okay. I'm curious to see what. Let me see here. Why don't I see it? Oh, there it goes. I see it. Not like it means anything, but I've always noticed like how they look at this, bro. So if you got a negative by your name, you're the favorite, right? Correct? So you could actually make some money on this fight, bro. I mean, I know it's going to change on Saturday. I don't usually bet. I don't. But I don't think it's a bad idea to bet on Conor Benn, bro. You might make some money betting on him, bro. You might actually make some negative 170 to plus 135. So the odds on that, if I was to make a bet on this, let's say a money line is straightforward, right? So if I was to put 200 down on Eubank Jr. on a and let me see if I go to Conor Benn. Yeah. I mean, just on a straight up, I think it's just a straight up, he's gonna win. You more than double your money. Like they got him as a heavy favorite, bro. And a lot of it has to do with the weight. They think that the weight is gonna be, I don't know, man. I think the weight cut might actually affect Eubank Jr. more than anything. He looked very big tonight. He's got to lose a lot of weight, and you can't go past over 10 pounds overnight. Let's see. Who's the favorite on that, HOD? Jose Ramirez or Devin? Devin should be like Devin should be. Okay. Oh yeah. I was gonna say Devin Haney should be the favorite, and that's no disrespect to Jose Ramirez. It's just I look at their styles and like even if Devin hasn't fully recovered, like you got to remember Jose Ramirez, he's got to chase Devin. Even with his pressure, I don't, and not only that, he should be. I hope Devin destroys this man. No ifs, no ands, no buts about it. I don't want it to be close. I don't want there to be no controversy. I actually wouldn't mind it if Devin was to stop Ramirez, bro. Because I want Ryan to run right through Rolly, and I want that rematch, bro. And this way they could do it on their own terms and their own weight and their own testing. And this, I don't got to hear nobody talk after that, bro. Unless something were to happen again. Yeah, I'm all for Devin winning that fight. And it's kind of crazy because the fight card that we see, right? And this is boxing. I wouldn't be surprised if everybody we think is going to win loses. Can you imagine it? Can you imagine if Ramirez beats Devin, Barboza beats Tio, and Rolly beats Ryan? Can you imagine that? Bro, that'd be crazy. And it's possible too. It's possible. Anything's possible. What was the card that we saw with the Turk, where most of the fights went the opposite direction? I think it was the card where Eddie Hearn got swept. When Eddie Hearn versus Frank Warren. I think it was the Queensberry, whatever it was, right? Not one Eddie Hearn fighter won. He got swept. And I think a lot of those fights, people were picking some of Eddie Hearn's fighters. I know I was. And it could happen, man. It definitely could happen. And Tio, you know, it's funny when I'm watching them dudes up on their the second time that they were talking, right? It's crazy, man, because as much as I don't like Tio doing the goofy shit that he does, and I really don't like some of the stuff that he does, I can honestly see he was trying to sell the fight. He's trying. I know it's corny. I know people look at it like he's corny, but everybody else had no emotion. Nobody had no emotion. Devin's not saying nothing. Ryan's not saying nothing to Devin. Ryan's not being Ryan. You know, he's kind of like he's acting like Devin's not there. Devin acting like Ryan's not there. Rolly ain't been himself. Rolly ain't been himself since he got knocked out by Tank, bro. Actually, Pitbull. When Rolly got knocked out before he fought Tank, Rolly biggest shit talker there was. In fact, the shit talking and the way he is in the ring, because he's like a novice, right? Technically, skill wise, that is what got him his fights. Other than that, and being with Floyd, right? And the WBA sanctioning the fight after Rolly was accused by that woman, right? And then Rolly gets knocked out, and then when he fights Pitbull, he still was on the trolling stuff. He still, remember, he got the little dog and called it Isaac Cruz, and then he got the piñata and he drove out to the desert and he took it out and he started beating it in the desert. Like, Rolly could sell a fight. And then he loses to Isaac Cruz again in a devastating fashion, and now he don't talk shit no more. Rolly don't talk shit no more. It's like Rolly's like, I'm not talking shit no more. And so it's boring. You got Rolly, no energy. You got Ryan, no energy. You got Barboza, Barboza's, I don't know. I've never really been big on I'm not hating on him. It's just not my cup of tea. And you know, and he's being himself. I really think he doesn't like Tio. From what I see, I think he really doesn't like. I think in his head he thinks that Tio's been running from him. I really do. I really feel like Barboza is upset because in his head he feels like Tio's been running from him, and I don't think that's true at all. But anyway, nonetheless, then you got Ramirez, bro. None of these guys got no energy, bro. None of these guys. These guys are just sitting there. Nobody's trying to promote the fight. And then you got Tio acting a fool, but at least he's trying. At least he's trying. He's over here trying to instigate fucking Ryan and Devin to go at each other. Like the kid in class that just instigating shit. I mean, he's trying, bro. Shit. I mean, don't like everything he does, but by the way, I think Tio got I think it's not just him. There's a few fighters that I watch during fight week, right? And I think some fighters purposely emotionally disconnect during fight week. They just emotionally disconnect. They just act totally weird, like weirder than usual type shit. And I don't know, maybe some people might call that being locked in. People might call that something more than what it is, but Tio's acted kind of weird during his fight weeks, bro. Like, he's done some shit where I'm like, that's weird. He's not the only one, too. I think Tank acts a little weird when he's about to fight. A lot of these guys do it. Tyson used to do it. Tyson used to say in his podcast, he used to say, hey, man, look, I don't care what anybody says, yo. Like, leading up fight week, I'm nervous. I was nervous. And he's like, the nervous helped me. It helped me stay on point. I didn't want to lose. I didn't want to get embarrassed. I don't want to get knocked out in front of all these people here. Right? So being nervous is a good thing. Being scared is a bad thing. Being nervous is a good thing. You know, I think people use the term duck a little bit too loosely. However, speaking of duck, I tend to use that lightly because I don't think a lot of these guys are scared of each other. I really don't. But I will say that obviously this is a couple weeks now, but this was a live I was gonna do that one day and it was canceled. But Where is it at? And are they still talking, by the way, or did he just pass it up with the 2.5 million for the prospect? That right there, when I heard that, that was weird to me. It was crazy as HOD. You remember a couple days before that story broke? Remember we were here on live, and me and you were talking about Kid Austin versus Abdullah Basin. Remember? And I was like, bro, I think that's a good fight. I think it's a good fight. They're both prospects, right? They're both making somewhat of a name for each other, for themselves. I thought it was the perfect time, being that Kid Austin got pulled from the De La Hoya fight. I mean, the De La Hoya fight, the fucking with De La Hoya with them over with Shakur and everything like that. Which, by the way, with everything that happened and transpired after that, with the asking for that much money, even though it's his father, it's the same shit. Like, I look at it like, I don't know, like, maybe did he pull out of the Shakur fight? I don't know. I don't think he was scared of Shakur. But I do think when it came to Abdullah Mason, they were like, hold on a second. I do think so. And I've spoken on this before. Like, I don't think fighters are scared, but I do think wholeheartedly, when you got a father or you got a promoter or like a handler, right? And people come to you and they offer you a fighter that's like bad stylistically. Oh, the fighter himself might want it. He might be like, yeah, I'll fight him. Yeah, I could beat him. But in the background, you're like, nah, I don't think it's a good idea, bro. And the fighter might be like, nah, I could beat him. No, I could beat him. I could beat him, Dad. I could beat him. And in his father's mind, he's like, no, I don't know. And I think that's what was going on with Abdullah Mason. I think his father's like, nah, we'll fight Shakur. And we'll fight Shakur because Shakur ain't gonna most likely knock us out. And if we lose, it's more of like a win-win situation, right? Now, go fight Abdullah Mason. Yeah, that's a lose-lose, brother. That's a lose-lose. Especially if Abdullah knocks you out. And what's crazy is I like Kid Austin. I really do. But he's yet to be tested. Neither has Abdullah Mason, by the way. Yeah, it's still a business. HOD, it's still a business, risk and gains. But that's what I mean. Like, do you agree? Like, maybe that times the son might be like, yeah, Dad, I could beat him. Yeah, Dad, I could beat him. But in the father's mind, he's like, I don't know if I want my son fighting this guy right now. I just don't think it's a good path for my son to take right now, stylistically. And you're right, it is a business. When you look at Shakur Stevenson, right? If he beats Shakur Stevenson, shit, you beat Shakur Stevenson. If you lose to Shakur Stevenson, okay, you lost, but you lost to Shakur Stevenson. You probably built a better name for yourself, a bigger name. Versus I go fight Abdullah Mason and get my, and go to the shadow realm. And any hype that I had built prior to that is now gone. I do think that happens, bro. And I think they just look at Abdullah like, nah. And my biggest fear is that I hope it don't happen, but I hope it doesn't turn into another Boots situation for Abdullah Mason. I really hope that doesn't happen, bro. I could see something like that happening where he gets like this aura around him, right? This aura. Mind you, any motherfucker could get knocked out, bro. Anybody could lose, bro. That's why, like, I don't man fan for nobody. Like, my favorite fighter's favorite fighter could get knocked out. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't man fan for nobody. So, but I hope he doesn't get this aura around him where people are like, oh, no, nobody wants to fight Abdullah Mason. Nobody. I hope that doesn't happen, because then that affects his career. Like, I feel like that whole situation with Boots, like, I feel like that affected him negatively. Not every fighter that takes an L early in their career is like, that's it. Their career's done. A lot of times a fighter takes an L and he bounces back, bro. He bounces back unless he took a lot of damage. And we're going to find out with Devin Haney if that's a fact. That's what I mean, though. He brings nothing to the table, but I think it's more than just bringing something to the table, HLD. I think, you want to know why? You want to know why I think it's more than just bringing something to the table? Because the last couple of opponents they had were a bunch of nobodies. I'm pretty sure they brought nothing to the table either, HLD. You see what I'm saying? But I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with you. Yeah. What does he bring? What does Abdullah bring other than the little buzz that he has right now, right? And on top of the little buzz that he has right now, he's dangerous. He's dangerous. And if I was to look at Kid Austin and Abdullah, I mean, it's too early, but I've already actually, you know what? I can't say that for Kid Austin. He went through adversity, just like Abdullah Mason. They both been dropped, bro. And I love that, by the way. You ever notice how people criticize Abdullah and people criticize Kid Austin and people criticize Virgil Ortiz for getting dropped and getting up and continuing on? You see how much criticism they get? Oh, he got dropped. So what? And he got dropped, and what did he do? He got up and what? He won the fight, right? Okay. To me, you get more points, bro. Now I know if you get hurt, you're going to get up. You're going to bite down. You're going to come forward. I learn a lot more from that than I do you fighting another fight where you just blow your opponent out the water and you hardly get touched. Yeah, looks great. I still didn't learn much about you, bro. I still didn't learn how you react if you get hit with a good body shot. I still don't know how you're gonna react if you get caught clean out of nowhere. I still don't know how you're gonna act if you get a flash knockdown. I still don't know how you're gonna act if you're behind on the scorecards. I don't know none of that shit. All I know is every opponent you've ever been in the ring with, you've just whitewashed them, bro. You just completely dominated them. I don't learn much from that. I really don't. I learn more from, okay, he went through adversity that fight. He was getting touched up that fight. Oh, he got dropped a couple times and he came back and he won? Shit, that shows me a lot more, bro. That shows me a lot more. So as much credit, as much people like to shit on Devin kept getting up, and the difference is I look at it like this. When Ryan got up and Abdullah got up and even Virgil got up, when they got up, they tried to come forward and hurt the guy, right? When Devin got up, he was more, I truly believe it was more about, I don't want to get knocked out by Ryan Garcia. Do you see what I'm saying? I think it was more about, I don't want to get stopped, not by Ryan. Fuck that. I will never hear the end of it. They will never drop this. If I get stopped by Ryan, it's over, bro. You know, and that's why I feel like, you know, he was able to get up. But I hear people, they get on Virgil, right? They get on Virgil, and I'm like, bro, Virgil, the dude is all about smoke, bro. Regardless of how you want to look at it, bro. They want to bring up the Xander Zayas thing. I mean, you can't really fault fighters too much for trying to be loyal to Turkey when Turkey's got something lined up for you, when Turkey's putting the big bag in your pocket. How many of y'all really think Bivol's scared of David Benavidez? How many of y'all really think that? If you think that, you're stupid. I don't care what happened in sparring, bro. Sparring is sparring. And like I said, 9 out of 10 times when two people are sparring, I guarantee you one is in better shape. I guarantee you one is in better shape and is helping the other person. And it's sparring. It's sparring. So this whole illusion that now Bivol, everyone's scared of David, right? Well, I don't agree with him. I think he should fight David. But do you blame him for staying loyal to Turkey in the sense that this man got me the better beef fight? He got me the undisputed fight. The first fight was a draw. He got me the rematch. And this guy got me the biggest paydays of my life. I don't like the whole Turkey saying, well, he know what's best for him. Like, you know, talking to him like he's kind of threatening people, because he did the same shit with Canelo too. He was like, yeah, he know what's best. He know what's best. I don't like that. But I don't blame a fighter. I'm going to tell you this right now, bro. If I got paid $5 million to fight somebody and you paid me, I don't know, $6 million to fight him again, and regardless of the results of those fights, those two fights, regardless, after that fight is over, somebody says, yo, Shadow, I want you to fight this guy. But the guy that paid me goes, hey, man, I got another fight lined up for you, bro. What you think I'm going to do? Seriously. Like, you think I'm going to go, thank you for those 2 great paydays, bro. I'm going to go check over what this guy's doing. Fuck no. No. I don't blame him. I don't think a lot of these guys are scared. And like I said, even the fighters that I feel like avoid fighters, right? And like you said, H3, I agree with you here. Even the fighters that avoid people, I don't feel like they're actually doing most of it. I don't feel like they're doing more. Like, let's bring up Abdullah again. I do not think Kid Austin is scared of Abdullah. I don't. I do think his father and everyone else or whoever's involved looks at Abdullah and goes, he brings nothing to the table and he's dangerous. It's the same shit. It's sort of similar to with Boots and Crawford. I don't think Crawford was ever scared of Boots. Hell no. I just think he looked at him like, bro, I'm at the tail end of my career, bro. I'm trying to get that Canelo bag right now. This guy's never even been on pay-per-view. Yeah, he's dangerous. Yeah, he's good. But I'm only fighting a few times and I'm getting the hell out, bro. I'm trying to secure that financial bag for my future. Like, I don't blame him for that. I don't even blame him for wanting to fight Canelo. I don't. I just think it's a lose-lose for him. I mean, for Canelo. I think other than the money, he gets, bro, it is a lose. Other than the money, nothing. No outcome. And I say it again, no outcome benefits Canelo in any way, bro. In any way. He wins by decision. I'm telling you what they're going to say. Oh, look, Crawford took him to a decision. He knocks him out. Look, there you go, picking on little motherfuckers. We already knew what was going to happen, right? If Crawford wins, oh my God, they're going to throw his whole legacy in the garbage, right? This is all lose. Other than the money, it's all lose for Canelo and everything for Crawford. You lose. You lost to Canelo, bro. You lost to one of the greats, right? You moved up in weight, right? You got all this shit to lean back on, right? And let's not forget that yo ass was sitting there training the whole time and he took another fight in between or 1 or 2 fights in between. And you didn't want to do that. You just want to go on Twitter and tell everybody, hey, all I'm telling you is I'm secure for September. Like, yeah, okay. Yeah, and Canelo is still going out there fighting on the dates that he's supposed to fight, like always, right? I don't blame Crawford. I'm just saying it all works out for him, in my opinion, other than the money. I don't care what the outcome is, bro. You're gonna get people that's gonna really turn this shit around, bro. If it goes to a decision, they're gonna make it look at that. Oh man, that was at 147 just a couple years ago. Look at what he did, the big bad Canelo. He took him for a decision. God forbid there's a split decision. Oh my goodness. God forbid Crawford wins. Told you that man was a fraud. Right? If Canelo stops him, they're gonna be like, I'm tired of this motherfucker always fighting whoever the fuck he wants to fight. He doesn't take any challenges. He's ducking David Benavidez. I mean, it is other than the money, bro. Other than the money, you already know what's gonna happen. But I don't blame Crawford for not fighting Boots at the time. Like Boots wasn't even on pay-per-view. So I understand when it comes to the business, HOD. I may not be business minded like a lot of you guys, but I'm not stupid either. I'm not stupid. I know that these guys don't fight for free. I know that these guys, some of them are aligned with promoters and networks or Turkey or whatever, or Al Heyman or Samson Lukowitz, whatever, bro. I understand all these guys. I try not to hold it against them. And like I said, I don't think fighters are afraid of each other. I do think wholeheartedly that people around them look at fighters and go, nope, he's not great for you, bro. I could see well in my mind Kid Austin thinking and said, Dad, I could beat him. Dad, I could beat him, Dad. And his father's like, bro, he brings nothing to the table. He's not a name. He's never been on pay-per-view. He's not a champion. He doesn't have any, but neither have they, though. You see what I'm saying? Neither have you. You a prospect too, bro. How a prospect gonna send another prospect and offer for $2.5 million? You would think Shakur would have sent you. What are you doing? That's why I'm like, no, he don't want to fight him, bro. His father is probably looking at Abdullah like, nah. I don't blame him, but you know, I know a lot of it is business, which is why I don't like a lot of this shit. But like I said, with Bivol, yeah, I was actually surprised too. I'm not surprised, but I was actually surprised to see a lot of these larger outlets, bro. A handful of them, losing my voice, a handful of them try to pump it up as if Bivol's scared of David Benavidez, bro. And I'm looking at it like, come on, bro. You really gonna make it seem like Bivol's scared of David Benavidez? Like, why? Because they got the better of him in sparring? Why? Because he wants to go with Turkey again and possibly get a third fight with Better Beef, the guy that got him the Better Beef fight in the first place, the guy that got him that big bag in the first place, the guy that was the reason why they had 2 historic fights in the first place. You're really going to look at him and go, he's scared of David after fighting Better Beef? You guys are out of your mind, bro. Every single one of you that think that, you're out of your mind, bro. I may not have the best boxing mindset, but if you really believe that, you're lying to yourself, bro. Especially if your excuse is sparring. He ran from David because of sparring. Come on, bro. I saw Tio get knocked down in sparring a couple times by dudes I don't even know where their careers are at right now. Wasn't there rumors Devin was getting touched up at sparring at times? It means nothing, bro. It happens, man. Do I agree with him? No. In fact, I am on the side that I'm sick and tired of this whole everybody's scared of David Benavidez. I'm on the side of somebody fight this motherfucker, bro. Somebody just get him the fuck out of here, bro. Just fight him already, bro. This whole aura, like nobody can beat him, it's insane to me. And it's actually mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling because some of these guys have been watching boxing longer than me. Longer than me. I've never seen an unbeatable fighter in my life. Never. I don't care if he retired undefeated. I don't care what his record says, bro. There is no such thing as an unbeatable fighter. There is none. There is none. And I think to look at Bivol fight Better Beef, who I think is, even at his age, bro. Can you imagine if this man was in his early 30s or something? Imagine if Better Beef was fighting like that in like late 20s, early 30s. I just I don't see it. I see a man that's like, well, he got me those 2 fights. I'm gonna go. But at the same time, yeah, somebody needs to fight David, get him the fuck out of here. And I like David too, by the way. I really do like David. But it ain't really like once again, it goes back to the fans. It goes back to the fans. Like a lot of I actually still, even with everything that happened with Tank, even with him not and me and HOD have gotten into this a lot of times, me and HOD. He does not respect that man at all. What is he? What do you call him? The Globetrotter, HOD? He calls Tank a Globetrotter or some shit. And I'm like, nah, bro, like, nah, I don't see that, HOD. Like, yeah, I know, like, challenging himself wise, yeah, I agree with you, but nah, I don't see that, bro. Like, I see a man that is small, right? That is small. And I think a lot of people look at him and go, he a midget, he's small. And I also feel like he was under Mayweather. I don't blame him for everything, HOD. All right. You're as good as the people you surround yourself with and the people that you brought up with. Now, the shit he's doing now, bro, it's just crazy. You know, with the whole trainers and shit and Calvin Ford and everything. And all, I mean, I don't agree with any of that, but at the same time, I look at him and I'm like, nah, I see what some people see, but then you got the fans that just fuck everything up. You just got the true D-Rider fans, the ones that think the man walks on water, the man can't get beat, criticize everyone else for shit that they do. But when it comes to your fucking guy, you don't say nothing. You have an excuse why you shouldn't criticize him. You say to one of these guys, so as a boxing fan, do you agree that a fighter should fight for his belt? Yes or no? Most boxing fans are going to be like, yeah. I'd rather see my fighter or whoever, I'd rather see the person fight for the belt. Okay. So what do you think about fighters that just get email belts and just get them for not fighting nobody? Oh, no, I don't like that at all. No, okay. And when it's David Benavidez, right? You're like, do you like the way he got that belt? Instead of them saying, no, I don't like the way he got it. You know what they say? That's because everyone's scared of him. I mean, come on now. It's obvious nobody wants to see this man. Nobody on planet Earth wants to fight this man. Nobody. That's the shit that gets me like, come on, bro. You like, and some of them dudes really believe it though. For real. That's why I make fun of them. I saw this one guy, bro. I swear to you. And I thought he was trolling, bro. He wasn't trolling. I swear to you, he was. He literally sat there for like an hour and broke down how fucking Tank had grease in his eye. He literally was like, nah, let me explain to you how it actually happens, bro. It does happen like that. It does. And all you guys talking shit have never had your hair done, all right? All you guys. It's like, what the fuck? Yeah, you see, when that shit is like chemicals and it loads up in your hair. And look, I could even go to the point, and then they go to the point to where he takes the knee and they actually slow it down in frames. And they're like, you could see right there. It gets in his eye. You could see right there. You got dudes that really do that, bro. They make it hard for me. You know? Yeah, it was a delayed reaction too. You know, I'm going to give him credit on here, Hawker. I don't think he was hurt. I think Tank was like in a state of panic, bro. I think Tank was in a state of panic. I think Tank was like, what is going on here? Like, none of this is supposed to be happening right now. None of this. I was supposed to get this guy out of here like 4 rounds ago. And I think he started to panic. Which actually, it's a bad look for Tank, man. It's a bad look because one of the things I've always personally give Tank credit on is I've always felt like regardless of his accomplishments, I've always felt like there's more to him than just knocking people out. I was one of the ones that was like, nah, he could box. He's got other skills that he could rely on. I don't know if it was just how Lamont, y'all, I'm telling you right now, Lamont fought him perfectly, bro. Perfectly. I've never seen Gervonta Davis that panicked in his eye. Like the closest I've seen him panicked was when he was in the corner with the Barrios fight, and Floyd came in the middle and was like, "Bro, you're down on points." And he's like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I'm telling you, like, you're not down on the official card, but they have you down." And I saw him, like, you know, he got a little nervous or whatever, right? That, and I think there was a point in the Ryan Garcia fight where he admitted he was nervous. But yeah, Lamont had a game plan and a half, bro. Like, I don't know. Now, I do think though this is going to be one of those situations where I think in the rematch he knocks Lamont Roach out. And you know what's going to happen, Hawker? It's going to be like another Ben Whitaker situation. It's going to be like that. People will forget what happened the first time and forget that 2 things can be true, right? 2 things can be true. You came back, you knocked this guy out. Okay, right. You were supposed to do that the first time, but that it happens. You're a human, right? Let's not forget the first time you was getting tagged up. You quit. That's a fact. You could dress it up all you want. You could dress the salad up all you want. You could put whatever you want on it, bro. You could try to cover it up with bread and cover it up with the croutons or whatever. It's still a salad underneath there, bro. I don't care how you want to spin it to me. Man quit his first fight. But before I get out of here, I want to check the timing, the time of the are they going to be fighting on East Coast Standard Time or is it UK time? I mean, to me, it's a big enough fight where they should have it, in my opinion. They should align it. They should align it with America, like how we get it, we got. I know that's kind of spoiled saying that. And I realized that the other day too, that a lot of times these dudes are in other countries and they actually change their schedule just so that we could have it the normal time over here. They do that for us. Oh man. No, it's not. That's okay. That's okay. That's not a bad time. That's not a bad time. Because it'll come on. Oh, wait a second. No, that is bad. Wait, no. 2 p.m. by me. So the fight will be at 2 o'clock. That's not bad. For me, that's not bad. But for other people where the fight's going to start at 11 a.m., 10 a.m., yeah, that sucks, bro. That sucks. I don't mind a fight coming on at 2 or 5, ending around 5 or something like that. I kind of like that because it gives me time to soak in the fight, probably watch it again, and then maybe go live later on. Sometimes watching a fight on Saturday and then you go live afterwards and it creeps all the way into Sunday morning and it's like Sunday 3:00. It affects your sleep, bro, going into Monday, you know? So it's not that bad for me, but I wish it was a little bit later than that. I wish the fight over by me was, I mean, 2 p.m. is better, is better. I mean, that's my only choice, but I wish it would have been like 5 over by me. Unless they're saying 2 p.m. is when the main card starts. Let me see. This translates to 2 p.m. Eastern time and 11 a.m. Pacific time. The main event walk-ins are 10 p.m. Oh, 5 p.m. Eastern. My bad. I'm good. What they say, Gucci? Okay. My bad. I read that wrong, bro. Okay. So the Eubank and Conor Benn fight is scheduled on Saturday 26 at 5 p.m. British summertime. This translates to 2 p.m. Eastern time and 11 a.m. Pacific time. The main event ring walks are expected to be around 10 p.m. British summertime, which is 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 2 p.m. Pacific time. So it will be around 5 o'clock here. That is perfect for me, bro. That means I might go live. Yeah, I'm going to go live for the fight. Yeah, I'm going to go live for the fight and I'll drop the link and everything. I just, those real late Saturday nights, bro, sometimes they get to me because we'll be talking till like 4 a.m, not realizing now my sleep is messed up. How the hell am I going to wake up in time on Monday? So this is actually good. Now, HOD, if I drop this link, brother, I can only talk for like 20 minutes. So let me know if you want me to drop it or not. I mean, if you want to come on for a little bit, or anybody, just let me know, or I'll stop it now. And let's not forget May 2nd, the card that can go, ironically, oh, I hope it doesn't go bad, bro. I really hope this card doesn't go bad. But I could just imagine everybody that's supposed to win. No, man, it's up to, no, here, I'll drop it. No, man, I'm doing it for you, brother. Like, you know, you my guy, bro. My channel, I could honestly say, bro, I'm not a narcissist, bro. Like, you guys make my channel, bro. It is what it is. I don't ever look at myself like I'm better than people. Fuck out of here. Hold on. Hold on. Is it in here? Yeah, I am, Hawker. You know what? That's something it's funny you brought that up. Hold on. Ah, shit, hit my elbow. There you go, brother. I don't know if it's new or not. I was going to get off of, oh, by the way, I got a little trick for y'all on StreamYard. For all of y'all that don't like paying all this money for StreamYard. Bro, StreamYard is ridiculous, bro. It's like $40, $50 a month. Just a quick tip. If you want to keep it for a couple of months, go to cancel it. And when you go to cancel, instead of them losing you as a customer, they're going to offer you 6 months at like a $8.99, $10.99. Then take it. Actually, I think you could turn it down a second time. Turn it down a second time until they offer the lower price, because they'd rather keep you on than lose you at all. So that's what I learned. I'm going to do that shit again too. So for anybody on StreamYard that's paying $40, $50, go to cancel. And when you go hit sure, a thing will pop up and it'll say, no, we don't want you to go. Stay for 6 months. And they'll give you a price. Say no again. And then it'll pop up a second one. Are you sure? And then they'll lower it. And then it's like $9, $10 a month. Or take that if you want to stick around for 6 months. That's what I did. What's going on, brother?
What's going on?
You know I'll drop the link for you, bro.
Ah, man. I mean, I'm just saying, bro. I'm over here doing documents, man. So I'm listening to it. You're yapping, and I'm working on documents.
So what's up, man? What you want to talk to me about? Anything? T.O.
Ah,
Conor
man.
Benn, anything?
Hey, I just heard you about the stream yard. It seemed like everybody's been saying the same, that it's. I think they sold to another company now. They jacking up prices.
Man, the prices are ridiculous. But like I said, I was this close about I was gonna say forget it. I was gonna find something else. And like I said, just say you don't want it. And right before you leave, they're gonna offer you, they're gonna be like, are you sure? And they're gonna offer you, like, instead of $40 a month, they're gonna say like 20 something, and then say no again. Say no, fuck that. I want to cancel. And then they're gonna say, are you sure? Wait, we want you to leave. And then they'll offer you like $12 and then just take that. Yeah, that's what I did. I'm gonna do the same shit again.
Yeah, you got to, man. Got to play the game.
Gotta play the game with them, bro. Because if not, that's crazy, bro.
Hey, so you're all into this fight, huh? This Conor Benn and
oh
Eubank,
man,
huh?
bro, I've been really excited for this fight for a while now, and a lot of it has to do with the fathers and the background, and because they're rivals and stuff. But yeah, how about you? You don't find it interesting?
You know, I mean, there's no. I'm not invested like that about the fathers, you know, and they're not even part of this thing. They're like, I think Eubank said it today that his dad hasn't even spoken to me for years. So I'm like, yeah, I mean, I like that there's like genuine animosity, I guess. Is, you know, so, but there's no consequential of this fight, you know what I mean?
No, it's not. But he did actually. It was a couple months ago. He did speak to his father, but it was like briefly. And I think because there's a Eubank that fights currently. I forgot his name. There's the
31-year-old brother he was talking about.
Yeah, okay. They were both attending something in regards to him, and they did speak for a little bit. But at the end of the day, I feel like his father's bugging. But the whole storyline, you know, this is one of those fights where the rivalry of the fathers and the rivalry between the families got me hooked. Basically, that and the fact that the first fight was you know, because the whole drug testing shit in the first fight, and you know, you got that going for it. You know, it
was when he got busted, it was for this fight. Is that what happened? Okay, right, okay.
For this fight, and then also another thing too, Eubank's father, where I think another rift that they have, and I don't know if anybody else pointed this out, but another rift that they have is so you know how Eubank Jr. he gets on Conor Benn because Conor Benn said that it was eggs that got him, you know, oh, I ate too many eggs, and you know, and the chemical must have been in there, whatever, right? So he's getting on him for being a cheater, and then you have Eubank Sr. actually come out on multiple occasions. I've seen him say it 3 times now, sticking up for Conor, saying, I don't think he cheated. I think somebody set him up, actually alluding to like Eddie Hearn or somebody. And his reasoning behind that is, and you know what? The more that I think about it, I'm not saying it's true, but it could make sense. So what he tried to say was just exactly what I was saying in regards to Kid Austin. Like, the fighter's not scared. The fighter will fight, but the other people around him don't want to fight, doesn't want to fight because a loss will hurt them financially. So therefore,
I mean, he's not going to put his fighter out for 2 years right now. I don't think Eddie Hearn had to do with that.
No, but that's just what he was insinuating, you know, that the people around him, he didn't necessarily say Eddie Hearn, but I think he was alluding to him. But I think I don't know if it was the coach or anybody, but basically he's trying to say that I guess they felt like he wasn't going to do well, and him being undefeated still and writing off his father's name is and you know, when they say it, it kind of makes, I could see that happening, just maybe not like that.
Bro, he hasn't had a knockout since, bro. Let's just put it that way. So I mean,
he's still undefeated and still got his father's name, though.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like Fernando Vargas, Fernando Vargas, and like, I don't know how you feel about him, but like Fernando Vargas son.
I'm when it comes to Conor Benn, he when it comes to the ring, he's got to prove himself all over again. So Saturdays is step one. He's got to bless this guy.
And you're saying because of the testing, right?
Yeah, his career starting from zero, and he's now gonna have to. Now you got to prove yourself. Now you're building yourself up. You knock out this guy like clean. Okay, I mean, I'm not talking about clean because I'm just saying that he knocks him out nice. Hey, you know what I mean? We got another guy that's and I don't know if he's gonna come back down to 147,
Right.
But we could use him at 147. You know what I mean? He's still a name for that division. So I hope I think for the long term of boxing, or for at least the immediate next few years, him winning would be better than Eubanks because him coming down to 147.
Okay,
Bro,
well, what do you think about that? This weight cut, they're going to be fighting at 160. Do you feel like obviously I think I know what you're going to say, but I want to hear you say it. They're both going to be fighting at 160, and then you got the 10-pound overnight that Eubank can't go over.
He has a abolition clause.
Yeah, so he sort of got the Then this is another reason why Eubank Sr. is pissed off. He feels like they're purposely trying to hinder his son. Because so Eubank Jr. was, now mind you, Eubank Jr. has fought at 160 for a while, but I think now he's at 168. I don't know if he's had any fights at 168, but here nor there, he's made 160 many times in his life, but he is older.
He's
but
older, yeah.
So it's 160, and then they got the sort of like the IBF shit overnight. He's got to weigh in the next morning, can't go over 10 pounds, and then he's good.
Okay, so he's hurting right now. He's hurting till tomorrow morning, and then he'll be semi-hurting until the next morning for the 10 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, Conor is bro. He's chilling, bro. Am I eating steak today? What am I eating now?
Yeah, no, that's but it doesn't always work out like that because we've seen cases with Jamel thought it was gonna be sweet when he moved up and fought Canelo, and that shit didn't work out.
But that's the same. Canelo wasn't cutting weight.
Cal Brook moved up, right? Fought Triple G, right?
Now imagine if it was that Canelo was coming down to 160 now at this point of his career, and then it was Charlo going up to 160. That's a different story.
It is a different story.
But that's what's happening here.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? So health-wise, youth-wise, that favors Conor. We'll see. I mean, I don't really, but I'm just saying I think Conor Benn would do good, especially in the States, bro. You ever hear him speak Spanish, bro? That motherfucker speaks a greasy Spanish, bro. Like he would make
Conor Benn.
Yeah, bro.
Is it because of his wife or his father's wife?
Because he grew up in Spain. He grew up in the streets of Spain.
That's where his loft is at, I think. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
By the way, you know what I mean by loft. Right?
Yes, man. I'm just busting your chops, bro, in the chat. But you gotta hear him, bro. He's got that greasy, like reggaeton Spanish, bro. Like that. I was like, yo, this motherfucker, if he was to come here, and let's say he knocks this guy out, and he comes to the States, bro, he could pick up a fanfare. Because
this is why I'm surprised that not many, and maybe it's because we're in America, but maybe this fight is really, really big over in the UK. I think this is a good fight, man. I think the names are helping it a lot, but I'm very interested in it because I also feel like when you don't seriously like your opponent, for instance, now this is different. They were both in the same division, but when David Benavidez was going to fight Caleb Plant, bro, one of the things that motivated me to see that fight so much was the fact that they hated each other.
Yeah, that fight is big over there because it's sold out. 70,000 people are coming to watch that fight. 70,000.
That's a lot, bro.
Yeah, I know the
how many people was in the audience for Canelo and Billy Joe? Remember that attendance? They were like. It was up there. It was up there in the same. Yeah, it was up there. I can't remember, but I know it was up there. In a stadium, bro. I remember.
Yeah, that was in Cowboy Stadium. Wasn't that in Cowboy Stadium?
Oh my goodness, bro. Yeah, thousands and thousands of people came to see Canelo fight. It was that was crazy.
Yo, that's a great stadium for fights. The problem is you gotta have the right fight to because you can't just have any fight in there.
Well, okay, so that you brought that up, this fight coming up with Tio and them is going to be outside, right? And you know, it's kind of messed up because they've kind of
I
like
don't know if it's gonna happen, bro.
You still don't think it's gonna happen?
I don't, bro. What was the temperature today out by you today?
Today wasn't that bad. I know the past
Bro,
couple days have been.
What is it right now at night? You know what I mean?
Right now it is 62 degrees by me. But then again, we just had like a major thunderstorm, so it's humid. Let me see. How long is the fight? Oh wait, oh shit, it's like next week, right?
It's next week.
Oh shit. Let me see. Hold on. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Let me see. Weather here on May 2nd.
And you know the temperatures, they say it could be really good. You know what I mean? It could be one of those nice days.
So
it could be.
I mean, now obviously this shit is gonna change. This is gonna change because it's not accurate. But according to me, here on May 2nd, it'll be 74 degrees, raining though, raining.
So how's that fight gonna happen, bro?
Exactly. Well, look, did they take into consideration, bro, that it could be raining, bro?
I mean, you got to. If you're like planning for a wedding outside, you got to plan for all of that shit, right? So it's the same thing.
But this is what I mean. Like, I'm pretty sure Turkey and them, they're not stupid. They got like little, but the only thing is I feel like it affects. I feel like I agree with you. I feel like the weather affects the event itself.
It's not gonna. It's not. It's more of a spectacle than what it is for the fighters, man.
Is it even a pay-per-view?
Yeah, you could watch 3 pay-per-view fights for $90. The Friday, Saturday, because you got Tio on Friday, Saturday is Canelo, and Sunday is Monster Inoue. So you could buy all 3 of them for $90. So it's $30 each, I guess is what it comes down to.
Can you buy them separately if you want it?
Yeah. But I'm saying they got a package.
I mean, with a Tio shit, I mean, if you're around that area, you could is it like, I wonder if you could just like park your car and just look out.
Well, yeah, you could. What you do is you could park your car somewhere.
Because like for instance, like you know how like the WWE, just because you're up in the stands doesn't mean like because they got like a screen though, right?
Right. It'll probably be playing on the screen, and if you get there's these stairs, man. Right to the like if you're looking right at Times Square itself, there's that section right there where it's got some stairs. I mean, if you get there early, you could sit on that shit to watch the fight. Pretty nice. If not, you got the restaurants right around there, man. So I mean,
it'll be closed off to the public. But yeah, I did hear something. Did you hear when Oscar kind of alluded to the fact that it's going to be closed off, but anyone outside that vicinity can watch the fight. But however, the actual close vicinity itself is going to be only a selected crowd.
Yeah. It's gonna be barricaded around the ring to sitting crowd VIPs. I mean, basically the main people of the event to 300 people. And then it's gonna be. Have you ever been to Times Square for New Year's? Where
years ago, I avoid that shit now.
Yeah. I mean, that's a young man thing. But I'm saying you got the barricade that you cannot get to. Where the celebrities at. So that's the same thing. There's gonna be a barricade, and you can just stand up to right there. And
that's why I'm asking if there's a big like a screen, like a Tron almost.
Well, the Tron is going to be what we see on Times Square. You got that Tron right there. I'm assuming.
Look, I hope the event goes on because if this event doesn't go on, it's going to really affect. Because you do know that. For instance, so now, did you hear about this? I don't know if many people are talking about this, and I don't know how accurate this is. But when I saw it, I was like, I hope that's not true. So I saw. So apparently, what they've been telling us is this, right? That Devin, if he wins, right, and Ryan wins, they're gonna run that back, right? That's what's been proposed, right? But then I also saw on an article dropped by After Boots Fought. Let me see if I can find it. they said that Ryan will become Boots mandatory if he beats Rolly.
Yeah, but that's not in the cards. The Turkey's the boss.
Right,
Simple as that.
right.
And this is what Turkey
But
proposed.
no, the only reason why I'm saying that, HOD, because you did hear, now mind you, Ryan's just talking, but he did bring it up a couple of times. He mentioned Boots. He said, I don't think Boots is that good. And you know, and then when he said that a couple of times, I'm like, man, Ryan's just talking. But then he is at 147 now, just like T.O.'s at 147. Devin Haney's at 147 now.
What's happening is that the shittiest sanctioning body in all sports, the WBA, is sanctioning the Ryan and Rolly fight for the WBA regular belt at 147.
Right.
And so that's that. But this is what Turkey had always proposed: is the fight that the winner, Devin wins, Ryan wins, the rematch.
Right.
Tio wins, Tio versus Boots. The winner of Ryan and Haney fights the winner of Boots and Tio. That's the
I'll tell you this, man. With Tio, Rolly, Ryan, and Devin all being at in the 147, that spices things up, man. It does.
Right. And so that's
a lot of shit.
Now Turkey, like 2 days ago, surprising. I don't know why he put it out, but he put on Twitter, what do we think of Tio versus Boots?
Yeah.
And I don't know why he did that again. I don't know. I don't know if they're brainstorming or, because anything can change. Obviously, but he put that out there. I was a little bit like, why?
But that's what I'm saying, because I was wondering, because now, like, I saw the little hints with Ryan first made that comment about Boots, right? He said, I don't know. He said, I don't think Boots is a pound for pound fighter, right? Then he and I thought, okay, he's just talking shit, no different than T.O. talking shit, right? Then he did another interview the same week, and he mentioned Boots again. I'm like, what the fuck does he keep mentioning Boots for? Then that's when I saw that article that came out and said, if Ryan, the winner of the Ryan and Rolly is sort of like Boots mandatory, but then not only that, but they're also trying to make it seem like they're gonna look for the Brian Norman fight. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, the 147 is spicier now with these guys there.
Hearn wants the Boots and Tio fight. Hearn wants that one bad. He's been wanting it before he fought Stanionis.
You think Hearns don't want Boots to fight Brian Norman Jr.?
No, he wanted. That was not.
No. I mean, besides Tio, like
they offered him to fight. They ducked it. I mean, what are we talking about? They ducked it. He offered him 1.7 million, and they ducked it, and then they fought on the undercard of Michaela Mayer.
I thought they gave a counter offer. Well, that's kind of like saying no, right?
Nah, bro. Bro. He made $150,000 to fight on the undercard, so he ducked that smoke. Simple as that. So,
all right, but if somebody offers Tio a fight at, let's say, now it's different. Tio's a two-time millennial, but I'm just giving an example. Let's say they offer him a fight, and it's I don't know, 1.34 million, and he's like, nah, bro, like I want 1.7.
Tio turned down the Matias fight. He was offered 2.8 million. Tio wanted 3.5, guaranteed. Fuck out the pay-per-view. Put it on the East Coast.
That's
not a lot
for Tio.
No, it's not a lot.
How much Tio make for his fights?
Right. That's the two he made for an example. He made in total with the Kambosos fight was 3.7. Even after they fucked it all up, he made 3.7. Now he's done a lot more since then. So his minimum has gone up. Now, Tio said, "Hey, I will fight him, but I'm not gonna have you guys sabotage me to put it on pay-per-view when we got 3 other pay-per-views within 6 weeks. That means 4 pay-per-views in 6 weeks. Nobody's gonna fight this fight, and who's gonna see this on the East Coast? This fight belongs on the West Coast. So Tio, no, because I got something else in my pocket. What's that? Something else? The Turkey deal. So he
And
told
you're saying with the Brian Norman Jr., they didn't have anything on the other side.
No, right. You know, like if you got something else like that, but he went to make 150. Now Teal's got a potential over $30 million contract with Turkey.
Right.
On 3 fights.
So when they were when Brian Norman Jr. and them were offered the boots, it's not like they had all these fights lined up. He fought
on the undercard. He made 150,000.
How much was he offered to fight boots?
1.7. Like, dude.
I mean, I don't. Yeah, I mean, looking from the outside in, it's easy for me to say he should have took it, but
he should have took it because guess what? Opportunities. Look, the same thing happened with Matias when he had the opportunity to fight Teal the very first 2 times. He lost his belt. He lost his promoter. He everything went to shit because he decided to go the other route. Look, when you have the opportunity to go against the number 1 guy and snag his power, which is his celebrity, everything that comes with it, you got to take it. Especially when you're a nobody. You have to take it. That's why Teal is the different guy. He's the one who took the Loma fight for cheap, took the Taylor fight for cheap. He's taking all fights that are the difficult ones.
How much is Devin getting for Jose Ramirez? I wonder how much
he hasn't spoken on that. I'll be honest with you. He hasn't. Not that I've heard. He hasn't spoken on it.
And he's obviously the favor, right? Yeah.
Jose, right. I'm putting money on Ramirez. So I'm going to put money on because plus 700. Plus 700.
No, I'm just laughing. It's not surprising.
Yeah, no, man, bro. I'm just saying, man. I mean, put $500 down, and you're gonna get.
If you put money on Conor, which isn't a far fetch, but if you put let's say you put 200 down for Conor Benn, just a straight. What is it? Just a straight.
It was one of the
parlay. What is the parlay again? What is the parlay or no?
Parlay is when you pick a series of you pick a series of fights.
Okay.
And if they all hit, that's another way to increase your odds.
If you just pick just straight up, don't care how he wins, he's gonna win. And I think when I was on DraftKings, if you put like 200 for Conor Benn, the payoff was like 417.
Yeah, no, it wasn't much. I think it was a plus 135. So that you can put it in your mind. So it's easy to put in your mind how it works. It's plus 135. That means that if you bet $100, you get your $100 back plus $135. So you make $235.
I'm telling you, man, I don't bet a lot, but with everything I'm looking at with the Eubank having to go down to 60, and then he's gotta watch that 10 pounds overnight, and then it just all this favors Conor, and I don't know, it just favors Conor in a way. But then again, I mean, I don't want to overlook Eubank does have, as much people might argue it. You might say, well, who did he fight? I mean, he still did. He fought Saunders. He lost that fight. He's fought some other fighters that Conor hasn't fought. So he's got the experience department. He's older. He is taller. He's got more reach. But I just still think all this favors Conor, where if you put 200 down on Conor, you get, man, that's an easy.
The variables would seem to favor Conor because of his youth, not cutting weight. He is undefeated, regardless how we want to put it.
He is. Yeah.
And the other guy, so you had those things too. So then what it comes down to is, still, Eubanks is going to hydrate to 170, 10 pounds. So 170. He could probably do then by nighttime of that fight, probably do another 5 to 10 pounds. He could still come in the fight at 180, 185.
Yeah, 180.
You know what I mean? And Conor then is small. And so, like right now, it seems like, damn. But if he doesn't weight cut well, and he's going to suffer. But if he hydrates well, coming in at 185 pounds, I mean.
Conor might not be able to even hurt him at that point.
Right. You're going to hurt him. I think they said it best. We don't know. We don't know what's going to happen until we see this fight.
Both of these now, Conor hasn't been beaten, but you saw, now this was early in his career, but You ever seen the Conor Benn fight where he got dropped in the first round with like 30 seconds instead of fight? He was hurt bad too. Bad. He was hurt bad.
What fight was that?
Let me. I can't play it because I don't want to get struck with anything. But I'll tell you right now. Hold on.
Was it a while ago?
Oh yeah, it was a while ago. Of course, it was a long time ago. But still, he was hurt bad.
Gotcha.
He was lucky to get out of there. Is what I'm trying to say. He was lucky to get out that fight, bro.
Man, but I'm Teal's looking good, bro. I know Teal's been putting in some sparring, bro. I mean, it's gonna be. I'm looking forward now. Okay, it should be a nice fight. We should be seeing one of the best TOs. This should be like a new coming out party of the consistency.
Yo, get the fuck out of here, bro. No way, bro.
What?
Okay, I got the screen up because I don't want to take it down. I don't know if this is real or not, but you remember when Chris Benoit from like the WWE when he did what he did to his family, right? And
yeah,
it's not just been that, but other things have happened in the past where something had happened, like an earthquake or something, right? And then people find something that told you what happened before it happened. Like somebody would find some website or of them talking about the event before it actually happened. I don't know what I'm looking at right here. Because I wanted to look up Conor Benn being dropped, right? And look what pops up here. In their recent fight on April 26, 2025, which is tomorrow, Conor Benn was dropped in the first round by Chris Eubank Jr. What the fuck is this, bro? What is going on here, bro? Look, the third round, Eubank Jr. landed a left hook over Ben, dropping him for the third. I'm taking a snapshot of this shit, bro. Get out of here, bro. No way. Is this the AI predicting this shit?
Is that the Google AI that comes up now?
Yes. And you know what's crazy, Dave? People have done that, and it's actually like came out true. Like there's been people that found, stuff about a tsunami before it actually happened. Like they found the exact to the T on here. That's why I brought up the whole Chris Benoit thing. Like they found people had found it online before it actually happened. It's like, how does that happen? But yeah, hold on. No, Conor Benn dropped in fight earlier in his career. Right here. Conor Benn was dropped earlier in his career, specifically in 2017 against Cedric Peynaud. He was knocked down twice in the opening round against Peynaud.
Okay, I mean,
I'm going to clip this right here, y'all. Y'all heard it here first, yo. Conor Benn, Chris Eubank Jr. will drop. Oh, hold on. Where's it at? Did I lose it? Wait, I took a snapshot of it. Yeah, I took a snapshot.
But that was such a while back. I wouldn't put too much stock on it. Now, if it was like recent in one of his recent comebacks, then I'll be like, oh shit, okay, Houston, we may have a problem here.
Right here. Here we go. I got my prediction up already. In their recent fight on April 26, Conor Benn was dropped by the first round by Chris Eubank Jr. in the first non-title fight. And then the first round, Eubank Jr. lands a right that drops Conor Benn, who was then counted out. So what does that mean? The bell rang. Second round, Ben also dropped Eubank Jr. with a right hand, but Ben drops Eubank Jr. with the right hand, but Eubank Jr. was able to get back up. Third round, Eubank Jr. lands a left and a hand doubled Ben over, dropping him for the final time. The fight was a highly anticipated, spiteful match with history dating back to their fathers. Bro, look, if this shit plays out exactly, bro, I swear to you, I'll stop watching boxing, bro.
No, it just tells you that we're in a simulation, bro.
We're in a simulation. Imagine that shit. So according to this right here, Eubank's gonna drop Benn in the first round, right? I guess he's gonna look like he's gonna get counted out, but the bell's gonna save him, right? Then in the second round, Benn's gonna come back and drop Eubank Jr. with a right hand, but Eubank is gonna be able to get back up. And then in the third round, Eubank will land a shot that's gonna drop Benn for the last and final time. You've heard it here. You've heard it here first on Shadow Ghost. If that shit comes exactly true, bro, that shit'll be crazy.
It would be crazy. That would be crazy.
But that sounds like something that'll happen, though. For real, the way it details it and everything, I could see it happening like that.
Hey, man, the way things are nowadays, bro. Who knows what world we are in, bro?
I told you there was somebody who found when Chris Benoit did that to his family. Like somebody had found word for word, almost like what happened online. It was so weird.
One of these Nostradamus type of people.
Yeah, well, no, like no. So you know how you can go. All right, put it like this. You know how on what is it? Wiki, I think it's Wiki. So on Wikipedia, I didn't know this, but you can go on Wikipedia right now and make an adjustment to somebody's thing.
Yeah, you can if you're registered. That's what I'm saying. When all these
registered, right? And then of course it's got a lot of times now they have a process where they verify. I think they verify and stuff like that. And if it's found to be not, then they take it off. But still, you can update it yourself, right? So when Chris Benoit did what he did, that horrific thing, you know, a lot of people think he didn't do it. But anyway, somebody had updated on his wiki before they were found, before they went to his house and everything. Somebody had updated on his wiki, and some people took pictures of it. They took a picture of somebody updated in the wiki that said that his wife and son was found, right? And then they actually, police looked into it and was able to actually trace back the person who wrote that. And it actually came from an area which was next to WWE headquarters. It was just weird. And then so this stuff has happened before, and I just find this because I went to look up Conor Benn being dropped in his fight earlier, and then this popped up.
Don't put your mistake in it, because you'll lose a ton of sleep, bro.
I mean, well, not if this shit comes out. No. Not if this happens word for. Okay, I'll tell you right now. If Eubank Jr. drops Benn in the first round, I'm gonna go ballistic, bro. I'm gonna go ballistic, because then that means that matter of fact, bro, this has to come exact. First round, he gets dropped. He's gonna get saved by the bell. Second round, Benn's gonna catch Eubank Jr. and drop him, but Eubank's gonna get back up. And then in the third round, Eubank will land a shot, ending Conor Benn finally for the third round. That's what's gonna happen.
That's what's gonna happen. Yeah, we'll see how it goes, man. But I mean, you know, it's. I saw the stare down, right? I saw the stare down earlier today, and it looked tense. It does look like you know.
I think Conor Benn don't like him a lot more than he don't like. You know, I don't. I think
he got embarrassed by him, bro. He embarrassed him too.
He got slapped in the face with an egg.
Yeah, he embarrassed him too. So I get that part, man. So I mean, you know,
I saw some shit where Canelo said that he thought that the whole egg thing was staged. And my whole thing is like, I don't know if I believe that, because like I don't know if I'd ever be comfortable with telling somebody, okay, so when the time comes, smack me in the face with an egg, bro.
I mean,
I don't know about that, bro.
There's a little bit of everything about boxing. It's not always. I mean, it can be. Let's put it that way.
So
I mean, Keyshawn Davis sent himself some bananas and water. Yeah, but look at what Keyshawn did. Yeah, bro, it's a fucking egg, bro. People do a lot of stupid shit about Keyshawn Davis sent himself a fruit care package.
That's not slapping somebody in the face with.
No, but what he did, he blamed the dude for all that bullshit of, you know, insinuating racism.
Looking back at it, I don't agree with that, but it kind of worked a little bit.
Oh, didn't I tell you that racism shit sells?
For that specific thing, it did. You know what I mean? But I mean, hold on, HLD. But to be fair, they were already gonna fight, brother. It's not like they were doing racial shit and there was no fight signed.
Whatever. Look, even what Teal did, it worked out. Look how go look at Teal's comments everywhere right now, bro, and on YouTube. Holy shit, bro! It's a 360. A 360. Everybody loving them all. Teal this, Teal that. I'm like, damn. I told her, look, man, we got to leave that shit alone and ride this wave.
I got a feeling that not many people are gonna. If he beats Barboza easily, I mean, what are people gonna say?
Nothing is to be said. He did what he had to do. Shut the naysayers up.
I'm not even talking about like a close fight. Like, what if Tio just wipes this dude out? Like, just
he's gonna blow up, bro. Tio's on the crust, bro.
You got a lot of people really thinking that, yeah, and I think Barboza himself. I truly believe that Barboza thinks in his head that Tio really was ducking him, and I mean, I don't know. I really think he looks at him and he really thinks in his head like, man, this guy's been running from me.
Well, look, if you sit in his shoes, you can see that, right? Because Tio just did not want to fight him. Tio had bigger fish to fry, and he did. He had Taylor.
He had a lot of. No, it wasn't even just Taylor. He was like in a spot where he had big fights lined up. He could, you know what I mean? Like,
and so
even if it wasn't Taylor, you think he would have went to Barboza? He could have, you know.
And so, hey, I mean, that's what it is. Simple as that. Nothing more, nothing less. But
and you know, I'm gonna tell you like this. Hold on, real quick. While we're on the subject of Tio, I know a lot of people hate Tio, but you know what? At least Tio still values the belts. At least, in my opinion, he's not like, oh, I'm just gonna do this for money and not get the belt. He still wants to do some legacy type shit. Like, I think Ryan Garcia could care less about belts, bro. I think the kid doesn't really care about legacy.
He said he didn't care. Now he says he does. I don't know. I mean,
he says
whatever
he does now, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So
Ryan Garcia looks a little different too now. He's acting more mature per se, right?
Bro, it's just man.
Part of his image, huh?
You grew up watching WWE. You gotta know you gotta play the heel, then you be the good guy, and then do bad. It's a psychological warfare of how to create a fan base, you know?
Because even Devin's trying to be all cool now and shit. Like Devin's like, yeah, I'm more of the.
Oh yeah, I've grown from that.
I'm grown now. I'm grown now. Yeah.
Yeah, right, bro. You know, and I think the thing is, Showbiz said it about a month ago, and he said we had a generation that was coming in following the Mayweather, you know, style shit, right? The flashy dashy, all that shit, and so that's the Tank, that's the Haney, you know, Tio, whatever.
Yeah, now these things are different, right? Like Brian Norman Jr., yeah.
Brian Norman, Abdullah Mason, Kid Austin. They're not about the flash and dash, bro. They're about the work.
That's good, man. We need that shit.
So we're you know, we're that mentality is going away. You know what I mean? And I think these older guys are starting to see that from the younger guys, and I don't think that flashy dashy tone is long lived. I think they're gonna have to see that we gotta take our craft more seriously than what that other bullshit is. So we'll see. But I think if Tio beats this guy, we'll see what happens from it. I really don't know what Tio's gonna do right after. I think the head honchos are still brainstorming. But he asked what you guys think about it. I'm like, greatness. The 2-time lineal going for his third. That's greatness.
Yeah,
that's greatness. And if he beats Boots.
That's a big task.
Oh, he got Boots when he was there. No, but if Tio beats Boots, I don't give a fuck what anybody say. He's the greatest now. He's the greatest over Crawford's generation.
I mean, if he was to beat Boots, I mean, yeah, of course. I mean, Boots is Boots. Boots. First off, I mean, as much. I'm glad Boots put on that performance.
He needed it.
I knew people were gonna do what they were gonna do afterwards, though. I knew they were gonna be like,
Oh,
people were gonna the first thing they oh, he can't beat this guy at 168 though. He can't beat this guy at 160.
I got
He
a
can't
bone to
beat
pick
this
with
guy at
you.
154. I knew that was gonna happen. Go ahead.
I got a bone to pick with you, man.
What happened? What I do?
Go ahead. What do you do, man? Go ahead. Talk your shit about my boy Xander's eyes when Conwell took a dump.
Huh?
All right. Talk your shit about my boy Xander's eyes, right?
What about him? What about him?
When Conwell took a massive dump.
Oh yeah. 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 No. Yeah.
I'm proving Conwell.
I
Told
never
you.
thought. Hold on. I never thought Conwell was the shit. I said
thought it was better than Xander.
I said that?
Yeah.
No way. No.
Better than Xander.
Nah, you got me fucked up. I would never. Why would I say Wait, whoa. Why would I say Conwell's better than fucking Xander's?
Because when I told you that Ortiz decided to duck Xander, and then we got into a conversation that I don't think he's even better than Conwell.
Okay. Maybe I said that at the time. You know, yo, it is what it is. I don't look. I want nothing but the best for Xander, bro.
I know, man. I'm just busting your chops.
That ain't a Berlanga situation. I like.
No, man. Now we're gonna see if Fundora is actually gonna duck him or not, because the end of negotiations for the mandatory spot it should be ending soon. And so, are they gonna vacate the belt then? They don't want to fight Xander. Something's coming up.
Yeah,
you know, so because they ordered it, it's a mandatory ordered fight. That means they got to be fighting by this summer. So if Fundora doesn't negotiate, he's gonna have to vacate the belt, which is kind of sucks. I didn't want Xander to get it, you know, via email, if you will. But
yeah,
but this would be an official duck. Anyway, yo, Papa, man, you gotta go to bed, man.
Yeah, I do, man. Thank you for swinging through, HLD. Appreciate you, man.
Ya tu sabes, manito, man. We'll catch you on Saturday, God willing, all right?
All right.
All right, bro.
Yeah.
Hit the likes and subscribe, guys.
Appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. Probably check out tomorrow after the weigh-in. And I'll probably stream the fight, too, on Saturday. So, y'all have a blessed morning.